my beautiful friends, today we're going to be trying out the brand new P.LOUISE Secret Sinner palette. I went ahead and did this eye look right here, so if you want to see how I was able to get this, go ahead and keep on watching. I truly cannot believe that I have this in my freaking hands right now. I ordered this on October 1st and I thought she was never going to be here. Like, I literally thought this had just gotten lost and that it was never going to arrive at my house. But alas, she is finally here. I am so excited to be trying this today. This is the P.LOUISE Saint and Sinner palette. I've talked about this a few times on my channel because, well, we'll just wait. Just wait till you see the inside of this palette because I don't think I need to explain why I was so excited for this to get to me. Look at her in all of her glory. I thought she was never gonna come. I literally like almost gave up hope, and you know, it's when you give up and you think that something's not gonna happen, that's when it happens, because last week I was just like, meh, P.LOUISE, that's just a lost cause for me. But to my surprise, here she is in the flesh, and good lord, is she gorgeous or what. Now this palette retails on the P.LOUISE website, and this retails for 40 euros, so I think that came out to around 50 bucks, and the shipping was $10, so that came around to about a $60 purchase. And I also purchased the P.LOUISE white base, and this fella was around $10, which I think is a great price for an eyeshadow base, especially one that's this hyped up. If it actually ends up being as good as everyone says, then 10 bucks is a great price. But then once you factor in like the taxes and the customs and the shipping and whatnot, it ends up being pretty expensive. But, you know, I did purchase the $40 palette on top of it. As a whole, I spent about 80 bucks, which is really expensive for an eyeshadow palette and an eyeshadow palette base. We are going to be testing the P.LOUISE base and the Saint and Sinner palette on my eyes today, and if this ends up being a really good palette and having a great formula, then maybe the pretty hefty price tag will be worth it. Before I get into actually showing you guys how this palette performs, I just want to talk about the actual packaging itself here for a minute. Now, I'm not a huge packaging gal. I definitely think packaging is cute, and sometimes I will buy things just because the packaging sucks me in, but I'm just not always going after products just for the packaging. But with this packaging, I was honestly like literally shocked when it showed up at my house. For one thing, the package was super heavy and I was like, what the hell is in here? Then when I opened it and saw that it was the P.LOUISE palette, I basically lost my shit. I was so excited, but when I opened it, I didn't realize how big this palette was and how hefty and heavy this packaging is. This is a pretty heavy box. I mean, this is probably the most heavy palette that I have in my entire collection. I mean, this is some hefty packaging. It kind of reminds me of something that you could like knock someone in the head over with, like a brick or something. I don't suggest doing that, like please don't do that, but you could definitely hit someone in the head with this and it would cause some damage. Why does my mind automatically go to these things? But the feathers that are on the packaging are inside of this little like window, if you will, and I think it looks really elegant and really pretty. And I don't know, I just wasn't expecting it to be this beautiful in real life, and I wasn't expecting it to be so hefty. So opening the palette up, I want to talk a little bit about the actual inside of the palette as well. Of course it came with this little floppy guy, but I always toss those. I don't care for them at all. But as you can see, we have these gorgeous shades, but we also have this beautiful mirror, and yes, you're probably gonna see my camera, I'm sorry. But we have this beautiful like vanity-esque mirror that is freaking giant, and one thing that I like is that it has this little string attached to it, so you can literally like prop it up and it stays up. I feel like I can essentially use this as a little handheld vanity, and I really like this because I haven't seen any other palettes utilize this little spring technology, if you will, if you want to call it that. A lot of jewelry boxes have this and they stand straight up, and I've always liked that, but I've never seen a palette use it. I think this is actually a pretty good idea and a pretty innovative idea for makeup palettes. I'd like to see makeup palettes do this more often because then I don't have to hold the mirror up myself. I'm a lazy girl and I don't want to do that. But enough of my nonsensical rambling here. I truly cannot wait any longer because I have been waiting months for this guy to come and I need to get it on my eyes right now. So I'm just getting started with the P.LOUISE base, and I'm just gonna apply this with my fingertips. This baby is in the shade Rumor 0, so this is the white base. I'm just gonna start out with like a teeny tiny little amount because I'm not sure how full coverage this is. From what I've heard, it's really full coverage, so I don't really want to completely white out my eyes and make myself look completely crazy, but I just want to create a nice white canvas for my eyeshadow to stick to. So just with that tiny little pebble-sized amount of product, I was able to cover the entire eye without getting a completely like whited out eye surface. And touching the actual surface after I patted everything on, She definitely feels tacky. It's not as tacky as I was assuming, just because so many people put on, I guess, maybe a thicker layer and it feels super, super tacky then. But just touching my eye right now, it feels tacky, but it's not anything uncomfortable, and it's not the tackiest eyeshadow base that I've used. All right, I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and try out the palette. What do I even start with here? I have so many different options. So I went ahead and picked up some of Rendezvous on my BH Cosmetics 3 brush, and this is a really beautiful mid-toned matte pink. I'm gonna go for something that is very me today. You know, I was thinking about going outside the box and doing something that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, if you will, but I definitely want to try out some of these pinks because there are so many beautiful pinks in this palette. So I'm just gonna go to something that's very comfortable for me and something that I would wear like on the daily basis. That is a beautiful strawberry matte pink. Oh my god, that shade is freaking phenomenal. This is like my favorite color of pink. I absolutely love it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this palette. And I'm gonna start to pack this on the outer V and the inner V, because we are going for a halo eye today in true P.LOUISE fashion. Well, that was a whole lot of pigment at one time. I literally dipped my brush in twice and I have this much eyeshadow on my eye already. So she's looking promising. And just gonna repeat the same exact step on the opposite eye. So far, I am really digging Rendezvous. I'm really digging the actual color itself. Now that I have the pigment on both eyes, I'm just gonna take whatever's left over on the brush and just kind of fan out the edge of my eyeshadow, and not too much because I don't want to completely blow this out, but I'm gonna fan it out just a little bit, and we'll return to that later to make everything a little bit more blended. So I picked up a little bit of Climax, nice name, and I'm just gonna be buffing out my edges here, and I'm just gonna be like ever so slightly, in fact, I'm actually just gonna tap some of this off onto my color switch because I have a feeling that it's gonna be very pigmented, and I just wanna use this as my transition. But this is a yellow, so I'm just gonna be buffing out the edges and making everything nice and smooth. And I'm not going for full yellow pigmentation here, I'm just going for like a light wash of it. I just wanted to peek through ever so slightly underneath that pink. I mean, I guess I could have put the yellow down first now that I'm thinking about it, but we're already here, we're already going this far, we might as well just work with it. Basically me and everything that happens in my life. So far, Climax is doing everything that I need it to do. It's buffing out the pink, but it's still pretty obvious that there's a yellow up there. I was a little worried that these would just muddy together and basically just turn into a different shade of salmon or something, but it is pretty obvious that there's yellow up there, so I am happy with that right now. So I'm really happy with what we have going on right now. I think this looks really cool. It looks very me. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up a little bit of Addicted, which is that beautiful, like, true royal purple shade, and I'm gonna mix that in with a little bit of Idolize. Why not? Just for fun. And I'm gonna start packing this on the outer V and the inner V. I'm gonna deepen everything up with this kind of pinky purple shade. And I'm basically just tapping that on the outer V and the inner V. And I'm just gonna start to bring these together once I get all of the pigment down here. And just have them connect right in the center. And that is a very pigmented purple, good lord. The girls over at P.LOUISE do very pigmented, very colorful looks, so honestly, I don't expect anything different from this palette. And I kind of covered up the strawberry tone shade, so I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of Rendezvous here and basically just buff it out to reintroduce the pink underneath that purple, because I don't just want purple and yellow, I want purple, pink, and yellow. And then if need be, I can always go back and retouch up the yellow as well. And for that being such a dark and intense purple shade, I am getting barely any fallout. I was so freaking worried that I was gonna get purple just everywhere once I put this on, especially because I've done my face makeup first, but it seems to be proving me otherwise. I mean, I'm not seeing a whole lot of fallout. I don't know about you, but I don't really see any fallout going on here. Maybe just a little bit right underneath, but I think I can brush that away when we're all done. And same steps on the opposite eyeball. And I truly haven't sat here and gotten ready in so long on camera. I've uploaded some videos where I basically did this, but they were pre-recorded. They were pre-recorded before I went to Florida, I believe. And I've been so busy lately. I've still been uploading videos, of course, but I've been really, really busy in my personal life because recently I finally got a job. I'm finally no longer a bum, which is awesome. And it's been a lot because, you know, when you first get a job, you're learning and you're just trying to do your absolute best. I mean, honestly, you should be doing your absolute best all the time, but you know, we get a little bit lazy in our ways after a while. So it's been a lot of mental effort just trying to, you know, perfect this and be really good at my actual job. But I'm really thankful that I was actually able to get a job and able to get one that I seem to really like. I've always been a dental assistant since I started basically working. I've had a few odd jobs here and there, but I basically started my dental career right out of high school. And I've always been a part-time assistant, but when you're a part-time assistant, no one really takes you seriously and no one really treats you like you're an actual dental assistant. People just kind of treat you like you just clean things up and you just sub in here and there for people, which isn't true at all. But I am the only and lead dental assistant at this office now, so I've had a lot of responsibility and I'm just like, what do I do with my life? I've never had this much responsibility in any job or anything really at all. So I don't know, it's kind of a big change for me, but I'm really enjoying it so far and it feels really good to be doing okay at something that I felt like I was doing really bad at for a long time. So my e.l.f. brush has been wiped off on my color switch and I'm just gonna try to really feather this out and blend out any harsh edges. When you work with darker colors, things can get harsh pretty fast. And I feel like this eye in particular is pretty harsh right now and I don't want to go for that kind of look. So I need to take it down a few notches, if you will. Picking up my Makeup Addiction Precise Blender brush, I'm just going to go ahead and take whatever I had left on the brush. I use this guy to basically pack on the inner corner and the outer corner with the purple. So I'm just going to run this just right underneath and basically keep it on the outer third. I don't want anything too smoky under the lower lash line, and good lord, this shade could get really smoky really quickly because as you can see, it's extremely pigmented. In fact, I may have just gone a little bit too ham with that, but we can fix it in just a moment. I'm gonna replicate the same thing on the other eye, even if I'm not completely happy with that right now. And I have a little bit of Rendezvous, which was that first strawberry pink color on my Morphe M578, and I'm just gonna barely like put any pressure on this brush and just pop it right underneath of the purple, just to match everything together. And finally picking up a little bit of Climax and just running that underneath everything, just to get everything to mesh together to the upper lid. So let's face it, this looks pretty bright and crazy right now. It kind of looks like clown makeup, but I think that it will look good in the end. And a lot of times with these bright and colorful looks, they look kind of crappy before they actually look good. But I'm just gonna take that P.LOUISE base in the shade Rumor 0 and pick up just a little bit on this flat synthetic brush, and I'm just gonna carve out the halo eye. And of course, I'm just popping this guy right in the center. I'm basically making a T shape because I don't want to take this into the inner third or the outer third. I just want to keep it right in the center and right underneath where I placed the purple. And just to add another color into this already colorful mess here, I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit of the shade Infatuation, which is a beautiful, like true hot bubblegummy pink, and I'm going to pack this just right in between where I placed down the P.LOUISE base and the purple shade. And same thing, of course, with the inner corner, just to mesh everything together. So now for the spotlight, let's go ahead and pop in something that's sparkly and fun because we have a lot of matte color going on here. So let's go ahead and stick to something that's sparkly yet neutral. This is the Marc Jacobs Sequins Pressed Eyeshadow in the shade Flashlight, which will be perfect for our spotlight eye. So I'm just taking this on my pinky and I'm just gonna pop this right in the center where we didn't put any color. Looks pretty cool. We'll blend it out in just a moment. Picking up a little bit more of Infatuation and just going to basically blend these together. And I just popped some on a brush here. This stuff doesn't pick up that great on a brush, but you can definitely get a little bit of pigment. And that's exactly what I want because I just want to mesh these two colors together. I just want to mesh together the pink with the sparkly, beautiful, kind of white gold, if you will. And I don't want too much pigment because then it'll be hard to actually mesh everything together. Alright, so this look definitely needs liner and lashes. We have a lot going on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off camera for a moment and then I'll pop right back on and we'll talk about how I feel about the oh so raved about P.LOUISE base and the P.LOUISE Saint and Sinner palette. Alright, we are back with some lashes on. I decided to skip liner just because I just couldn't be bothered with dealing with liner today. And honestly, if I seemed like I was getting a little bit depressed at the end of the tutorial, I was looking at my makeup like, I look like a clown. Like, I was literally just thinking to myself, this looks like crap, I look like a clown, what are my makeup skills? And then I went ahead and just finished out the look. I touched everything up a little bit. I felt like I needed to add just a little bit of shadow here, a little bit of shadow there, just to kind of even everything out, because I don't feel like my eye look was necessarily even, because it's a little bit hard for me to work on camera and to do my makeup on camera. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I don't have a viewfinder, a monitor, a screen that shows me what I'm doing. I don't have it on my computer, I don't have it in front of me. All I have is my camera and then a little mirror that's in the palette. So I do what I can, I make it work, but if I need to touch it up in the mirror later on, I usually go ahead and do that. All of that just to say that I just touched everything up and made it a little bit more even and a little bit more attractive, if you will, because I was looking like a straight clown there for a second, and honestly I got real upset about it. But we brought it back down, we brought it back to earth here, and I think it looks pretty decent now. My new Stila Glitter and Glow came out to play as well. I just basically lined right where we placed down the P. Louise base to cut out the crease, I just kind of outlined that just to make everything look a little bit more sharp and a little bit more clean. So how do I feel about this palette? Well, I think you guys can see for yourselves in this tutorial how pigmented those shadows were. I really didn't find myself getting a lot of fallout, which is really nice, especially with bright colors, especially with that deep purple shade that was so pigmented and so intense. There was like virtually no fallout, and I'm kind of confused because it was pretty easy to blend. It was very pigmented, it was pretty easy to layer up, and I didn't really have to work that hard with these shadows. Now, the application of makeup that I did, I think I'm not the best at, so this might not be the most amazing look in the world, but as far as the eyeshadows themselves, I think they performed absolutely phenomenal, and I can't wait to try more. The P. Louise base is something that I'm just gonna have to come back in a couple weeks and talk to you guys about, because I want to try it with different types of eyeshadow, of course. I think it worked pretty well for what I had going on today. I think it made the eyeshadows look bright, although they were already really bright to begin with, but I think it definitely made them stand out a little bit more. I'm just gonna have to test it out with other things. I'm gonna have to test it out with makeup that I know doesn't blend or isn't as pigmented as these shadows, but I will definitely get back to you guys in a favorites video or in updates and let you know, because the P. Louise base is so raved about here on YouTube, because I really think this might be something good that we have here, but I really have to test it out more before I can give it my stamp of approval. But as for the P. Louise palette, I think this guy is absolutely phenomenal, especially for just the 40 pounds, which is about $50 here in the US. I think this is amazing. Now, I'm definitely gonna have to test all of the shades, but as far as I can tell right now, I am really happy with how these performed, and I think that I'll be able to get an even better look when I just go for something that's a little bit more my speed, when I just kind of stick to a cut crease. And I think these are gonna work really well for me when I'm not filming my makeup, because it's just so much easier for me to do my makeup when I'm just in front of a giant ass mirror and not staring into this camera screen that I have nothing to really see myself on. I should probably ask for a monitor for Christmas or something, but I just work with what I got. The color selection is obviously a dream come true for me. I mean, I think if I came out with my own all matte palette, this would be it. I don't see a single thing wrong with this color scheme. I mean, maybe if there was a few like minty greens thrown in, that would be really interesting, but as far as I'm looking at it right now, I think this is absolutely perfect. As I said, I love that this sits up and that it basically acts like a little vanity. I really love that, and I love the packaging. The only thing that I would have to say is that although I haven't seemed to have gotten it dirty yet, which I'm surprised about, I know for a damn fact here that I'm gonna end up getting this dirty as all hell, because I am a mess when it comes to my palettes. You guys have seen my palette collection video. You guys have seen my Z palette collection video. It's a freaking hot mess. So I am really surprised that this guy doesn't have fingerprints on it yet, but I'm gonna do my absolute best to take care of this and, you know, clean it off if I notice fingerprints and not just leave it there like I do with everything else. Because this is beautiful, and you know, I want to keep it looking nice. I want to have one nice thing in my collection that I don't completely ruin. But with that being said, I think that is all that I have for you guys today. Please do let me know down in the comments, have you tested this palette before? Have you seen people use it? Are you interested in buying it? Because when I first saw this palette, I knew that I had to have it, and I was willing to wait the almost 2, 3, I don't know how long, 2 months I guess, because I wanted this palette so incredibly bad. When I first laid eyes on it, I knew it was going to be mine. I purchased it during the pre-order, and then I saw everyone starting to get theirs a couple weeks ago before me, and I thought it was never going to come. I was so upset, and she finally came, and I'm really, really impressed with it. So let me know if you've tried it before, because I would love to know your thoughts and know what you think about the formula. But that is going to be wrapping up me trying out the new P. Louise Secret Sinner palette. I do hope that you consider subscribing if you have not already. I am doing all sorts of makeup goodness happening here on this channel, so if you are not already subscribed and you would like to be, I would love to see you hit that button down below. I do also hope that you consider giving this video a big old thumbs up, and if you like my videos and you would like to see more, I would love it if you would hit that notification bell. This way you know when I'm posting. But I hope that you are having an absolutely amazing and beautiful day wherever you are, and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you next time. Bye!